Catalonia, voters at the upcoming elections will decide for their national and cultural identity instead of ethnic diversity and progressive multiculturalism. Plataforma per Catalunya and its chairman, its president, Josep Anglada, are the sole guarantee for keeping Catalonia Catalan. And many Catalan parties champion far-reaching autonomy or independence. But the very same parties don't seem to have any problem with mass immigration and the advance of Islam. To what avail do they advocate an autonomous, free and independent Catalonia as long as their country is less Catalan than Arabic and Islamic? Catalan Catalonia is an Islam-free Catalonia, devoid of mass immigration and imposed multiculturalism. Indeed, we say Catalonia to the Catalans and Europe to the Europeans. Dear friends, I am confident that at the next elections, Plataforma per Catalunya will surprise both its allies and adversaries, as it will succeed in settling itself firmly as a right-wing, patriotic, social and popular party. Dear friends, just like all other European countries, Catalonia needs a party that says loudly what the man in the street quietly thinks. Catalonia needs a party that represents the voice of the majority of the Catalans, like the Danes, like the Swedes, like the Austrians, the French, the Dutch and the Italians. Catalans desire to see mass immigration, crime and insecurity, joblessness and poverty, alienation and Islamization come to an end. Dear friends, one of the most important threats is the possible Turkish accession to the European Union. If Turkey would become a member of Europe, of the EU, this would not only provoke an additional mass immigration of millions of people, but it would also imply that a powerful Islamic country can influence the European policy. And furthermore, it is important to note that since 2003, Turkey is being governed by Islamic fundamentalists. Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan showed his true face when he said a few years ago, mosques are our barracks, domes are helmets, minarets are bayonets, believers are soldiers. And he also said democracy is like a train. We shall get out when we arrive at the station we want. And it's unacceptable that the European elite decides on the accession of Turkey to the European Union without consulting the people, without consulting European nations. A coalition of right-wing parties, the FPÖ, Vlaams Belang, Lega Nord, the Danish People's Party, Swedish Democrats, Front National, and also, of course, Plataforma per Catalunya, united in the European Freedom Alliance, announced already 2 years ago that we will organize a popular initiative as stipulated in the Lisbon Treaty. We intend to organize a referendum in the entire European Union on the accession of Turkey to the EU. Europe risks to be colonized by Islam. And in the summer of 2010, it was the Libyan leader, Gaddafi, who said that Islam would become the religion of the whole of Europe. We have 50 million Muslims in Europe, he said on Al Jazeera. There are signs that Allah will grant Islam victory in Europe without swords, without guns, without conquest. The 50 million Muslims of Europe will turn Europe into a Muslim continent, into a Muslim country within a few decades. Unquote. The Western world is being invaded. The Western world is being invaded by non-European Muslims, not by an armed militia, but by millions of pauperized immigrants. Not less than 2 million non-European immigrants enter Europe every year. And the growth through immigration is 3 times higher than the natural growth. If Europe does not stand up to immigration invasion and install a strict immigration policy, European population threatens to be overrun by a tsunami of pauperized third world Muslim immigrants. And that's why we say no to the Islamization of Europe and no to the mass immigration, the immigration invasion, and no to the entry of Turkey to the European Union. Parties such as Plataforma per Catalunya, the Austrian Freedom Party, the French Front National, the Danish People's Party, and the Flemish Vlaams Belang stand up for the interests of the man in the street in the first place. We are a European social and patriotic movement that urges for solidarity with the weakest amongst our own people. And after all, it are the workers, it are the unemployed, it are the most vulnerable people that are hit the hardest by the migration problem and the rising insecurity and crime. We strongly oppose a hostile takeover. Well, that's what it's all about. It's a hostile takeover of our country, our culture, and our civilization. Europe is an occupied continent, occupied by more and more non-European foreigners, occupied by more and more Muslims. And Islam represents a political ideology and a model of society that does not belong in Europe, that is not European. Islam is like a predator, anxious to eliminate its faint prey, Europe. We, European patriots, we European nationalists, seek to prevent the colonization of Europe by Islam. We prefer to stay masters in our own country, to stay masters in our own continent. Catalonia and Flanders have both about 6 to 7 million inhabitants and indeed a parallel history. Again and again, we were compelled to strive for education and administration in our own language, in Catalan and in Flemish. We had to fight for the preservation of our own culture. We had to raise our voice to safeguard our rights and our freedoms. Let it be clear that we do not want to put the accomplishments of this long struggle at risk for the sake of South American, African, or Arabian immigrants. The temptation of our social security and the system of unemployment benefits have provoked an unseen parasitism. Illegal aliens, foreigners with criminal records, as well as asylum fakers that exploit our social services should return to their home countries by boat, by plane, by train, or if it need to be on foot. Dear friends, I would like to wish good luck to Plataforma per Catalunya and to its chairman, my good friend Josep Anglada. Together, we need to shape the resistance to secure our European future. Our people first, not Republic d'abord, unseres eigenes Volk zuerst. Our own people first, primair els de casa.